I'm Igor and this is The List Building Lifestyle, a podcast for anyone who wants to build a wildly profitable email list working from home. If you'd like to make six figures, travel the world, and help people improve their lives in the process, then this podcast is for you. I also invite you to attend a free workshop at Igor.ac, where I'm teaching how I made $21,779.45 in affiliate commissions by sending just 481 clicks to my affiliate link in one day. I'm also explaining why I walked away from ClickBank and I don't promote ClickBank offers anymore, as well as the 5 things I look for in a perfect affiliate offer. I'm even going to show you the one-page website that I used to make over $500,000 in affiliate commissions this year, and I'll even bribe you to attend this workshop by giving you a $497 value course that shows you how to cherry-pick high-converting affiliate offers for your next affiliate promotion. In addition, I'll even give you the 3 offers I'm promoting right now that are making me money as we speak. All that and more at Igor.ac. And now it's time to claim your list building lifestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, list builders of all ages, I'm Terrence Lackey, and welcome to the List Building Lifestyle. It's my pleasure to introduce Igor K-Feds. How you doing, Igor, my man?
I'm doing great. Can you believe it? It's the 300th episode. We're officially doing the anniversary episode of the List Building Lifestyle. This is like history in the making right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I am stoked. I've been pumped about this episode for weeks and weeks and weeks, so I'm certainly glad we get a chance to actually record it. So I am stoked. You know, I can tell you from my perspective, the way I got exposed to you a long time ago was listening to your podcast, and it's surreal me being here with you now and to celebrate your 300th episode. I think is fantastic, because you see so many podcasts out there that they drop it out after 50 or 20 or 100 episodes, and you're still rolling strong. So congratulations. How's it feel? 300 episodes under your belt.
It feels amazing, and I get it. I get it. While most people drop their podcasts because it's not easy. It's kind of like running a marathon for like 3 years. It's really challenging to stick to that routine of constantly pumping things out. And, sometimes you just run out of things to say. But I'm really happy that we're doing it. I'm really happy that you're joining us as well, because it's much easier to do it when you've got someone who's literally holding you accountable, or who you can hold yourself accountable to, like I can to you and you to me. And I also want to take a quick moment and thank everyone who is involved or was involved in the creation of this podcast, from the people who just planted the seeds in my mind, as far as that us needing one, to all the people that worked on the show website and all the facilitators. And you know what? I'll even thank producer Jonathan, who originally helped me start it, but eventually we parted ways because I became like this high maintenance client he couldn't deal with anymore. But in any case, I really want to thank everyone on the List Building Lifestyle team. I want to thank Dennis. I want to thank Lana. I want to thank Danny and Olivia. I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone who's always working to support this movement. And of course, the biggest thanks of all goes to the listeners, list builders, all of you out there. Thank you so much. This episode is a tribute to all of you, which is why we're doing a special format today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all about the listeners and being relevant, and them tuning in to all your episodes, and all the conversations really that we have here on the show. And so we talked about this, and what better way to commemorate your 300th episode would be to actually take some questions from the listeners. So there's no predefined or pre-structured format for this particular show. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dig into our pile of of submitted questions. There's a lot of questions that have been submitted, so we're not going to be able to get to them all. There's some of them that are highly technical in nature, and certainly we can't get to that. And some of them are kind of irrelevant or something. Some of them require ask some questions that just aren't suited for a podcast. So I've weeded through these, and I pulled up some, and I love to present them to you, Igor, to get your frank, honest opinions and thoughts around them. We haven't rehearsed this at all, so this is going to be raw and uncut and a little different than what our listeners are used to in the past. So are you ready?
Yes, I am ready.
All right, great. So I'll jump right in here, and forgive me if I say your name incorrectly. I'm going to try my best. Bao, we have a listener named Bao. He says his question is, some marketers say you should email every day, and they do very well online. And he says, like you, like Ben Settle, Michael Chaney, and like you, he says some marketers don't email every day, and they also do very well, like Andre Chaperon, Vic Strayhouse.
Strizius.
Yeah, that's a tongue twister. And he wants to know your view on this, everyday emailing versus not. And what do you think?
Well, I'll answer it with just sharing with you what I've done today. Today, I've mailed my list 3 times to 3 different segments. So each segment received 1 email. Those segments received an email yesterday and the day before. So I'm a great believer in emailing every day. And I'm actually a great believer in emailing several times a day, not just once per day. Do people like Vic Strisius and Andrew Chaperon and others get by sending less than 1 email per day? Yeah, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they make money by running ads. I'm sure they've got some recurring revenue coming in from recurring products like membership sites or something like that. I know. But you also have to remember that there's different business models, and there's also a matter of how much is enough. Like, are you content with not getting everything you can get from your list? Are you okay with getting half the response you could be getting? Or are you not mailing every day because of some preconceived notion that you may be annoying your list or whatever? Like, I know for a fact that Vic Strisius is using MailerPost. MailerPost is a really expensive email autoresponder based in Toronto, and they charge ridiculous amounts of money, and they charge you based on mailing capacity. So I know that Vic is very selective with at least one of his primary lists, just because every email he sends out is literally costing you money. Because if you buy, say, 100,000 email capacity per month, and you're paying MailerPost like $3,000 a month, then it means if your list is 10,000 people big, you can only mail it out 10 times. You can only send out an email to that list 10 times, because each email will be sent out 10,000 times. So 10,000 times 10 is 100,000 before they charge you extra. So that's why I never signed up with MailerPost. It's one thing that they're really expensive, but it's the other thing that they charge you a lot, and they have limited capacity that they give you for mailing. Now, Andrew Chaperon does not email every day. No, he does not, if you're on his broadcast list. But if you get on his email follow-up, you're going to get an email every day. He's going to get you into one of those soap opera sequences. He's going to open a loop on you. He's going to tell you a story. So it really depends where you enter in the funnel. So my take on this is, if anyone who makes good money, they email nearly every day, if not every day, if not multiple times per day. And most marketers I follow that I know for a fact are making money, be it financial markets, supplements, weight loss, anything. Most of the time they mail at least once a day. People in the health market mail twice a day at least. For example, Mike Geary, a famous guy, he used to own a product called Truth About Apps that got me on my weight loss journey a while back, basically by explaining the fundamentals of correct nutrition. So he moved out of the make money online space, moved out of the weight loss space, and moved into the health niche, where he's now focused on health and promotes ClickBank products in the health space. He mails consistently, like clockwork, twice a day. You can get on this list by going to Nutrition Watchdog and just measure it up. See how many emails you get every single day.
Well, there you go. So, mail at least every day, multiple times a day recommended. And some of these folks that you see out there that you may not know that they're emailing every day, it kind of depends on what list you're on. So they probably are. So, that's a great one. So, the next question is from Alan. Alan wants us to make sure that we point out that Alan's a longtime student from back in the VIP Igor solo ad days. And he asked a question about a psychological insightful question that he recently asked on Quora, and it generated quite some buzz over there. So there was a lot of crazy responses. So he would like to ask you that question. So here's the question: which would you like to clean first, your room, your desk, or your car, and why?
Oh, that's easy. I'd clean my desk, I then clean my room, and I never clean my car.
Desk, never clean your room, and then your car. Why is the desk first? I'll add on to that.
No, it's my desk, and then my room, but never my car. I actually never ever clean my car. My wife's literally begging me sometimes to take it to like a detailing place or whatever, and eventually she just gives up, takes it herself. Now here's why. Why my desk? Because my desk is the time and a place where I need my cognitive functions at their highest. So as far as I'm concerned, that place has to be clean so I can think. Now my room, I'm assuming that we're talking about my bedroom or a room where I spend my leisure time. I would clean it second because I spend very little time in it. I spend maybe less than 2 hours, maybe less than an hour of conscious time in my bedroom every day. Okay. Obviously, when we're talking about making love, we don't count that. Okay, so I don't want people to think that I fire quickly. Anyway, yeah, so my bedroom, like I just come in and I just fall asleep. I almost don't spend time in my bedroom because even if I get into my bedroom and I don't want to go to bed, guess what? I'm starting to feel sleepy and groggy because of a habit. You get into an environment that dictates your behavior. So that would be the second choice. And the reason I don't clean my car is because as far as I'm concerned, first off, it doesn't affect the way it drives. So even if I'm driving a dirty car, it'll still drive as well as a clean one. And second, it's not about whether it's clean or not, it's about the badge. So I don't mind my neighbors looking at me and be like, oh, he's got a dirty car. My neighbors are looking at my car and be like, oh, he's driving a Porsche. Okay. I wonder what he's doing for a living. Maybe he's a doctor. So that's the car concern. So I literally never, ever wash my car. And my desk would probably be my priority for sure.
Well, there you go. I think he mentions that this is an insightful question. It tells you a lot about people's values, their prioritization of leisure over tasks. So the desk is certainly tasks. Oh, by the way, he asked that we shamelessly plug him at alanlikes.com, ALAIN likes.com. Anyway, going on, Raquel reaches out and she asks a question, and the question is, what affiliate programs do you consider evergreen and pandemic resistant?
Oh, that's a good one. I think the beauty market is pandemic resistant because people want to look beautiful even when they're stuck at home, especially when their face is now online and on Zoom meetings and stuff like that. And then you've got stuff like, I would say, make money is definitely resistant. Financial markets are experiencing a boom because the stock market is very volatile. So people are always like asking, where should I move my money? Where should I invest and stuff like that? Weight loss, it really depends because there's been an increase. Like I think the number one or number two highest selling item on Amazon right now is a device that helps you bake bread, a bread maker or a bread baker. So I'm guessing people are now gaining weight. So losing weight will definitely be a great market, if not during the pandemic, then getting out of the pandemic. I think, salsa dancing or self-help retreats and workshops and stuff like that is probably not a good market, but I think fishing is still a good market. Fishing is still a very good, passionate market that doesn't necessarily, pandemic doesn't stop it. I think golf is a great market, but pandemic probably stops it because the golf courses are closed. What else we got there? Self-help. Self-help doesn't go anywhere. It's still there. Drop shipping seems to have kind of taken off even further than it used to. People like Shopify is offering 3 months free trial. So we're seeing lots of businesses that were selling stuff offline are now moving to Shopify to dropship and stuff like that. So these would be the markets. There's probably more markets too. Markets like health and back pain and bed bugs, like those markets never go anywhere. Photography, it doesn't go anywhere. In fact, photographers are probably going outside right now and taking more pictures or taking pictures at home more actively than they did before. So anything as far as photography equipment or anything like that still is very viable. Video games, social gaming is also very powerful. In fact, I'm invested in several stocks that deal with games, both, Xbox and PlayStation games, as well as mobile games. All the stocks are up. Everything's up. So it's definitely on the up and up. Now, on the other hand, things like marketing to small businesses. Like I got a friend who's got a video marketing agency. So he's like looking for business. He's very discouraged now because they're not even willing to talk, because all they have to think about now is, how do we pay rent? How do we get the bank to allow us not to pay our mortgages for a little bit? Right. So these markets are definitely hurting. Anything that revolves around serving the small business or the medium business, they're hurting. Now, on the other hand, one final market is something that most people don't think about, is accounting or compliance market, or if you're a lawyer and you offer services over the internet, like you're probably busy right now because people are filing for government funds, for relief funds and stuff like that. There's regulations that change at work. How do you control employees when they work from home, and all kind of stuff like that businesses did not have to deal with before.
Wow, that's a great list. One theme kind of jumps out at me when I listen to your list is people want to make this time productive. If they can't get out and about, they want to try to improve themselves or improve their financial situation or lose weight, or So there's a lot of those that are or keep themselves entertained. So yeah, those are going to be evergreen for sure. Matter of fact, I just reached out and you see on TV where they have this weight loss for men where they can send you the food. Well, I was like 3 in the morning and I signed up for it. And now I got 2 boxes of food that I'm supposed to live off of for a whole month. So we'll wish me luck on that one. Okay.
Oh, you're a soldier. You can easily pull that off.
Yeah. So I'll let you know how it goes, All right. So we got another one from Glenn. Glenn reaches out and he says, this is a great question, by the way. How would you recommend the typical list building lifestyle day would look like? So he's kind of looking at, what would you do? How would you divide your time? Would that be growing your list or using technical, to technical side, scheduling, email content? Kind of how would that typical list building lifestyle member listeners' day look like if you had to paint maybe an ideal one? I added that in there, but that's Glenn's question.
So here's my answer to Glenn. It would depend on where I am in my journey, because the way I break down my day to day is not the same way I would break down my day if I was just getting started to build my list. So back in the day, I was focused on only one thing. I was focused on putting together list building funnels and trying to optimize them and trying to figure out how to get the highest opt-in rate and the highest email response rates, looking for offers to promote. So always looking for highest converting affiliate offers I could stick in my funnels and I could stick in my emails, and driving traffic. These are the only 3 things that would matter. So if I wasn't building a funnel, then I was writing an email. If I wasn't writing an email, then I was thinking of ways to run ads or to create content for my blog that of course didn't work. Or, basically the only 3 things that mattered were getting more clicks, converting more clicks into opt-ins on my list, and mailing that list with offers. So that would be, I don't know, like how many hours you've got in the day, So I don't know how you break it down, but if you have to break it down into hierarchy, then the first thing to do is to focus on your funnel, because until you have one, you don't have anywhere to send traffic to. Then I would start driving traffic, and then I would work on my follow-up and, of course, daily emails.
There you go. Follow up and daily emails. Absolutely. All right. Going over to Bruce. Bruce comes in and he says, this is kind of related to the question you just answered about the evergreen areas, affiliate programs. Bruce asks a question that several BizOp and other about BizOps and health and fitness industries. He says that you talk about promoting other products outside the BizOp field. He wants to know how he presents his product that's not in the BizOp field to let's see. I present other products to my BizOp and fitness list. So I'm reading that to be he wants to introduce a current list to maybe a fitness fitness product to a current BizOp list. He says, or should he instead create a new list of product seekers? So can you migrate a list from one industry to the next, or should you just start from scratch?
So there's the legally right answer to this, and a real world answer. So the legal answer is no. If they signed up to receive a weight loss newsletter, you'd better not mail them with a money making offer. And if they signed up with a money making offer, you better not email them with a weight loss offer. So that's the legal answer that I'm kind of obligated to give. But in reality, if you wanted to do that, you could probably have a better chance of promoting a weight loss offer to internet marketers or people seeking a business opportunity than you would vice versa. Because there's a good chance that there are unfit people on a BizOp list than there are people who are interested in business opportunities on a fitness list.
Well, there you go.
But if I had to do that, I would probably build a list from a list. What I would do is I would gently email my BizOp list saying that there is a way to lose weight. And if they want to find out more about it, they can opt into this list to get more information. And then I would not annoy that list with that anymore. Because the problem will be not, it may arise not from mailing that list once about weight loss. The problem may be from mailing that list with weight loss all the time, because then you're annoying them because they signed up with the expectation to get one thing and all of a sudden they're getting something else.
Makes sense. And you won't get those spam complaints or anything like that. So, yep, I like that one.
Yo, it's Igor. If you're loving the content, hop on over to listbuildinglifestyleshow.com for more free training and a free transcript of this episode. Oh, and I'd really appreciate if you logged into iTunes and rated the show. It really helps. Thanks.
Matthew reaches out to us. Now, look, Matthew sent a bunch of questions in, and thanks a lot, Matthew, for your enthusiasm, but we had to pick one. So I chose one from Matthew's list, and here it is. What do you think about ringless voicemails in the BizOp space as a sole traffic source instead of solo ads? For example, have a ringless voicemail direct them to a domain that directs them to your capture page.
Yeah, this is an interesting question because I've had an experience of having someone who's also by the name named Matt promote my webinar. And instead of mailing for it to his email list, which he didn't have, or which he couldn't mail for some reason, he just ran a bunch of ringless voicemail campaigns. And to be honest with you, he did not do pathetically badly. I know it's like a weird way to say he did well, but I can't say he did really well. But I've had email campaigns that bombed and did worse than he did with Ringless. So Ringless, what really surprised me is just how many people actually listen to their voicemail and how many people actually open up their browser and go to your website if your website domain is like catchy and short enough for them to go and type it. Personally, I've never had much success with Ringless. We used it as a follow-up mechanism. But then again, we never used it as a cold mechanism. We never used it as a means of getting in front of a customer for the very first time. Now, another thing that Ringless sometimes made me feel a little bit uncomfortable with was that it's a bit of a gray area because you're not allowed robocalling anymore. There's like a law against it. So if you're doing ringless, chances are you're not like literally picking up the phone yourself every time, and you don't have an army of assistants, somewhere in Wuhan in China, calling people. You probably have a software that is dropping those voicemails. So the workaround around those robocall laws or anti-robocall laws is dropping the voice file, your literal voice file, into the voicemail box directly without calling them. So if you've ever had your phone notify you that, oh, you got a new message from this number, but you never heard a call come in, that's how they did it. They place it directly into the voicemail box. So that's a bit of a gray area, and I wasn't sure if I want to build my business on that. But would I try it out if I had a very easy way to get started and understanding of how to do it? Yeah, I would definitely give it a shot. And Matthew, I guess that's a really long way to give you the answer I should have given you from the start, and that is go test it. There's really no answer to anything besides go test it. So if I tested it, I can share my test results. But the reality is, if you want to find out if it works for you, you have to go test it.
There you go. Okay, moving on to Giancarlo. Giancarlo sends a really short and sweet one for you. Can I add my picture in every email at the bottom above my name for personalization? So can he? I'm sure he can, but should he?
Yes, you can. And I'm not sure whether you should. I didn't notice whether a picture at the bottom of every email increases or decreases your conversions. Chances are, if you're mailing them, you have an avatar picture, which means when they get your email, it has like a little small, tiny little image. So you can place your face in that image. So you don't have to place an image inside every email. But with that said, I find the timing of this question very interesting because we just started testing a brand new template where every email does contain my face inside the email. So for now, I'm seeing higher response rates. I'm not sure if it's because of my face or because of the formatting of the email itself, but I don't think that just makes or breaks. Plus, you have to really have a good face. I mean, Giancarlo sounds like he's got a better face than Igor. If we define faces based on names. So, Giancarlo, if you've got a beautiful face, why not? If you've got a charismatic smile or magnetic eye contact or whatever, sure, why not? If your face is an advantage, it's kind of like the same way, the same advice I've heard about music in marketing videos. You don't want to use a music in a marketing video if that music basically gets in the way of the message. But if you can use music to enforce the message, then you should use it. But for most people, that just basically means stay off the music.
Well, there you go. You can also split test it, right? So you can just see if it works, if there's any difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Bill comes at you with one. It's kind of a three-part question, kind of those questions you asked the president. Well, I have one question, but it's really three parts. So Bill writes, it says, Igor, we're living in unprecedented times. People are scared, nervous, and uncertain about the future. What have you noticed, if anything, that has changed the market in the make money online niche? There's a couple of add-on questions on top of that. Have the prospect or buyer's actions changed or shifted? Or has your communication changed to acknowledge the new reality?
Yeah, these are good, timely questions, and I'll go from the back. So, has my communication changed? Yes, absolutely. I reference to the quarantine all the time. Sometimes I'll even reference to specific articles. I reference to unemployment. I try to give them more solutions that allow them to get started in a shorter amount of time because everyone feels pressured. This week, actually, as we're shooting this, I'm mailing out a promo for a $5 a day ed plan, which is a program by my buddy Mike, who shows you how to get started with $5 a day and build your affiliate marketing business in the weight loss space that way. Right. So it's very timely because right now people are afraid of spending a lot of money up front on ads. So my message of, going out there buying solo ads is not as, accepted, I guess. And if you tell people, spend $500 versus spend $5 a day, now they're much more sensitive to that. The other question, have prospects' actions changed or shifted? Yes, they have. So for one, I'm seeing more buyer's remorse. People are much quicker to go back on their buying decision, try to back out of a system, and they need more reassurance that this is going to work and that they're making the right decision, simply because they're afraid that they're not going to have money come in next month. Another thing I noticed, that people are willing to put less money up front. So it's a little bit harder to get people to put out $2,000 up front for something, but they would still get the same $2,000 thing if you allow them to break it down into 6 payments. So back in the day, if I was doing a $2,000 offer and I offered a 6 payment plan, then I'd have 80% of people take me up on the $2,000 offer, because eventually they would end up paying less. But now more people go for the payment plan. So my guess is because they want to minimize the spending, considering that their income has been limited in some way, or because they're uncertain about what's coming up. Like, it's really about the uncertainty of the future. And that's why it's so important to continue to market aggressively and to build an online business of your own. Because as far as I'm concerned, like, I don't think about the future that way anymore. Like, the amount of money I make every day gives me certainty in my future. And I've been always telling that. I've always saying that since the podcast started, that, I derive certainty in the future in the amount of money I make. So that's why I continue to say, build a list, because your certainty, your source of income, will come from certainty. So your list is a source of certainty in the future. And the last question is, has anything changed in the market or in the make money online niche? What I've seen is, I'm basically seeing more activity. I'm seeing more and more people kind of coming out and preaching solutions. I'm seeing more and more people kind of make more claims and say, hey, in the COVID, like, would you like to make money in COVID-19? So they're kind of using it as an excuse to market, which is good, because it's better than not using it as an excuse to market at all. But what I can also predict is that the moment we're out of quarantine, all of these people, they're out. And the tide will go back down, and you will only see the usual suspects and the long-term players like myself, like my friend John Crestani, like my buddy Matt Basak, like my buddy Anthony McCarthy, so all the usual people that have been stable throughout the times, and all these other guys, they will just sort of fall off the side of the wagon. So that's a temporary change, and my guess is only because they have nothing else to do. Really. I mean, their mind is literally not preoccupied with something else, so they choose to invest it in this. So those have been my observations.
Excellent, great. Richard reaches out to us and he says, Igor, how do I get approved at large lead banks when you only have a budget of $300 to $500 per month?
Yeah, actually, this is a very technical question that he asked. That shouldn't have made it through to the podcast, but I'll answer it anyway, because I already answered it for him earlier today. I sent him a video where I answered it. Basically, the idea with lead banks is you don't want to just, come up to them and say, hey, I only have $300 to $500 per month, because these guys, they want long-term players. So if you tell them that you're coming with $300, they're not going to work with you, because it's going to probably cost them more money just to set you up. So while you don't have to tell them you have tens of thousands of dollars, and not that any advertiser does. In fact, the people like myself who do spend tens of thousands of dollars, we never say how much money we've got, because it makes us an easy target. So instead we say, we focus on how much money we would like to start with, or how many leads we would like to start with. And that allows us to just get going with a very small investment up front to gauge the quality of the traffic. Now, this question, the reason I didn't want to answer it on the podcast is because it is out of context. Because if you don't know what a lead bank is, you have no idea what I've just said. So if you want to find out more about what lead banks are and how I use them to drive as much as 967,822 clicks per month, then you need to go and attend the free webinar at igor.cx. So that free webinar will show you exactly what I do and how I use lead banks to build an enormous list, how I used it to generate as much as 1.3 million leads in just 10 months, and how I am basically taking those leads right away and using affiliate marketing to convert them into profits and then reinvest it back into more traffic. So this is a paid traffic technique. It's not solo. It's not Facebook ads. It's not AdWords. It's really fast. It's super scalable. But there are, of course, the specifics and intricacies of using it. So if you want to find out more about that, go to igor.cx and attend the free webinar.
There you go. So that was a more advanced one that slipped through. Hey, we have another one here. It's I love these type of questions. Comes from Sven, and he asks, if you lost your entire business and you were forced to start over with only $200 in your pocket, what would you do to turn it into a profit as fast as possible and scale it?
So I'm going to correct Sven's question and say that $200 only in your pocket is not enough to start a business. Not enough. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't matter if you want to do dropship or anything like that. You need money to start your business, be it because you need to buy some tools or a website or some traffic. You always need to be spending some money. So instead of focusing on how much money do you have in your pocket and how to make money with that amount, what I would do is I would get a skill that I can use online in order to make some money that I could continue to invest in my business. Because when I didn't have the money and I didn't have any money when I got started, I developed a skill set. I learned how to build landing pages. I learned how to write sales pages, and I learned how to create email campaigns and write emails. And I just did that. I had people pay me a set fee to do it for them so I can earn money. So basically I was trading my hours for dollars. And by doing so, I was able to match what I was earning online with what I was making offline, working full time, by the way. And I was able to take that money and invest it into my business, buying tools, traffic, and things like that. Because without a source of income that you can devote specifically for your business, you're going to have a lot of trouble trying to scale it. And I'm not just talking about buying like trainings and mentoring programs, which you need anyway. You kind of have to get them. Otherwise, it's going to take you 10 years to figure this out. But I'm also talking about just the necessities of running a business, getting an email autoresponder, running some traffic, getting your hosting, getting your domain, getting a lead page building account, paying for like a productivity tool of some kind, like Monday.com. So all of these things are needed and they all add up at the end of the month. So instead of trying to figure out how can I get by with as little money as possible, why don't you figure out how can I create an additional source of income, even as small as $300 to $500 per month, so you can then take that money and devote it evangelically to building your business. That is a much better way to do it than trying to figure out how to squeeze blood from a stone.
Okay, Igor, we have another one from a listener. I'll call him W. He says, what do you feel about ad blockers and all of the kind of technology that seems to be becoming more prevalent, and how will it affect ads being seen in the future?
Well, I've actually read this article 2 days ago that said about 20% of all internet users are using ad blockers right now, which means when they get on YouTube, they're not seeing those pre-video ads and post-video ads and in-video ads. When they get on websites, they're not seeing retargeting ads. So on one hand, yeah, it makes it a little tricky. But on the other hand, there's still 80% of the internet who doesn't have ad blockers. So as far as I'm concerned, we're good. Plus, there are many sites that literally tell you to disable your ad blocker because they run on ads, like they make money by offering ad space. So as far as I'm concerned, it's not a threat. But I'll give you a different perspective on ad blockers that you may have not considered. As a marketer, if you've got your ad blocker enabled, you are seriously missing out on tons and tons and tons of educational material you should be studying, looking at other people's ads, especially in your industry. So if you're using an ad blocker and you're a marketer or you want to call yourself one, I highly suggest you disable it immediately because you are not getting that dose of inspiration and new ideas that you otherwise need.
There you go. All right. Well, and then this shoot right over to Rob. Rob says, what factors do we need to have in place for high email deliverability to subscribers' inboxes, regardless of what email platform we use?
Well, now that's a really technical question, and it's probably going to take me at least 3 hours and 15 other experts, on the show to answer. So I can't really answer it in a quick fire way. But what I can do is I can suggest to Rob to go to listbuildinglifestyle.com right now and sign up for our mastermind. And within that mastermind, he will find a special training that I recorded with someone I consider to be an outmost expert in email deliverability and inboxing, Dennis Ray. And I actually had Dennis speak at the List Building Lifestyle Toronto Email Intensive last year. And he's done a full day just on email deliverability, inboxing, and automation. So we had Dennis recently on a coaching call. He came in and he explained exactly step by step what you need to do, regardless of your email platform, to inbox. And that's available to List Building Lifestyle Club members. So you need to go to listbuildinglifestyleclub.com. Actually, you need to go to listbuildinglifestyle.com, not List Building Lifestyle Club, listbuildinglifestyle.com, and sign up for our mastermind, and you can access that training immediately upon signing up. I highly recommend it. That training alone is worth tens of times of what the admission price really is. And, just being able to pick Dennis's brain inside the mastermind, as well as get very specific advice to, by saying, here's my email, here's my from email, here's my from name, here's my system, what am I doing wrong, how can I improve my email deliverability? That is also extremely valuable if you're already using email marketing to make money. So Rob, go to listbuildinglifestyle.com and get into the List Building Lifestyle Club, and you will have this question answered right away.
All right. And finally, we have a listener. Her name is Rosemary. I know she's in the medical field. And this is pretty insightful, because I know that there's a lot of people, a lot of essential personnel out there doing a lot of jobs in healthcare and other areas that are critical. And they're really swamped right now, but they want to build their business. And she's finding it a challenge to implement the list building lifestyle and getting her business set up because of just the added demand of this COVID-19 response. Do you have any advice for her or anyone else trying to manage, a demanding workload and trying to transition into a list building lifestyle?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, you have to figure out whether you're a morning person or a night person or a day person. For me, I'm a morning person. And the only thing that worked, especially when I was just getting started and I had jobs, and at one point I had two, was giving the first hour of every day to myself. You'd be surprised how much you can do in one really focused hour every day. So I would suggest devoting 1 hour, if you can, maybe 90 minutes in the morning, first thing, to yourself and your business and your list building lifestyle. Like even today, I still have this habit where I wake up. So for example, today I woke up at 5:55 a.m., so almost 6 a.m. I go downstairs, I make an espresso. I don't brush my teeth. I don't bother, looking in the mirror. I don't bother eating. I just make my espresso. And for the next 2 hours, the world is mine. My daughter is asleep. My son's asleep. My wife's asleep. No one's bothering me. No one's calling me, besides maybe people from Israel because of the time zone difference, but I don't even look at my phone. The first 2 hours, they're mine. And I focus on what's important. So if you ever wonder, how am I able to produce so much content? How I'm able to produce so many offers, promote so many products? Or otherwise, you're wondering, how the hell am I able to do all of that all together? Then this is my secret. The first 2 hours of my day are mine and mine alone. They don't belong to my customer support. They don't belong to my customers. They don't belong to my family. They don't belong to my parents, my friends. I am basically putting my own agenda first. Then, for the rest of the day, I can squeeze everything else. But until then, I have to do what's important first. So that's how I wrote my book. That's how I created most of the programs that are now a part of the list building lifestyle ecosystem. That's how I've built the soloist business as well, because we had to create a ton of different stuff in the soloist business, and that means like literally gigabytes of content all the time, videos and everything. So the first hour, and if you can more, of every day should be yours, and you structure everything else around that.
What fantastic advice! In this age of distractions, that's, I think I just read a book called Deep Work, where it talks about just deep focus on something for a period of time is something that we rarely get to do. So, yeah, that's really great advice there, Igor. Great answers to all the questions. Thank you, listeners, for sending your questions in. If you sent one in, we didn't get to it. Our apologies. We only have a certain amount of time. So Igor, 300 episodes down. Are you ready for some more?
Yes, sir, I am. And I'm ready to pick the winner, because we promised, I think, one or two winners will be picked from all the questions that were submitted. So, Terrence, let's do this.
Okay.
You pick one, and I'll pick the other.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds good. You want me to go first?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm gonna have to actually go to the question. Let me find it. Even though the dollar amount wasn't right, that's the question. I'm gonna call out Sven, and his question is a question I think that anybody getting started in any industry and in any business who meets someone who's successful in that business wants to ask them is, what would you do if you had to start over today, and how would you do it? I think that's a fantastic question. It's very insightful, and there's many people out there that they're curious about where to get started. And I think that's a good question, even though it's not the most complicated or currently relevant with regard to the news. I think that's a really good question that will benefit a lot of people. So Sven's got my vote.
All right. So fair enough. Sven's got the first prize, and he'll get to pick whether he wants a List Building Lifestyle t-shirt or a List Building Lifestyle mug. My warmest suggestion is to get the mug. It's amazing. And so now the second winner for me. So at first I was thinking maybe Alan, because Alan asked, well, would you clean first your room, your desk, or your car? But then, I don't think it's fair to pick him, because it's a very good psychological question to get to know the person a little bit, but it's not really a marketing question per se, right? It's not really a list building question or an email question, which is where my preference goes, because this is a list building lifestyle podcast. So for me, to be honest with you, I'm like a little bit torn between Bao, who asked about like, how come some people do well with one email a day and some people do not, don't email every day? And the other question that I really liked, it was from Bruce, about whether you can mail weight loss to BizOp and whether you can mail BizOp to weight loss. So in between the two, give me just 3 seconds to make a decision. Gun to the head decision making right there. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go with Bruce. So Bruce, who asked, can you promote weight loss to BizOp lists and vice versa? That's a question, because it made me, it really made me think, because this is the kind of entrepreneurial spirit I really want to see more of in the world, where people think beyond the constraints of the boxes they were put in. So Bruce, you get to pick a t-shirt or a mug.
There you go. And Sven as well, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, congratulations, winners. You're all winners in my view. Thank you, Igor. We look forward to many more conversations and helping the list builders and all the listeners. Any final words before we sign off?
Yeah. I honestly did not think we'll ever make it to 300 episodes. I was really shocked when we made it to 100, and I think we made it to 200 right around the time when I moved to Canada, which was about two and some years ago. So it seems like the progression from 0 to 100 was faster than the progression from 100 to 200. And that progression was even what was faster than my progression from 200 to 300, because that's when I really slowed down. I took a few breaks. So it is my hope that will progress from 300 to 400 much faster than we did from 2 to 300. And we need your support, list builders. The more people listen to this podcast, the easier it is for us to drop everything we're doing and come on air for you. So all I ask is you take a moment today to email a friend and recommend this podcast to them. All right. And we'll do more Q&A episodes because the amount of feedback we've gotten from this one was really cool. I didn't think we'll get so many questions, but we did because a lot of people, they're like flies on the wall. They're really complacent, but list builders are not. List builders are different. They're proactive. So thank you, Bao, Alan, Raquel, Glenn, Bruce, Matthew, Bill, Giancarlo, Richard, Swen, W, and Rob, and all the others who did not make it to this list because they asked questions out of context, or they were technical, or they were just a little bit crazy altogether. So thank you, and thank you, list builders, for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you for listening to the List Building Lifestyle. Get access to previous episodes, the transcription of today's show, as well as other exclusive content at listbuildinglifestyleshow.com. Also, don't forget to claim your free seat at the workshop I'm hosting this week, where I showed the two-step system that made me the top affiliate for people like Matt Basak, John Crestani, Richard Legg, Michael Cheney, and many, many others. In fact, on this workshop, I'm going to show you the exact approach I take whenever I promote an affiliate offer, the exact offers I promote, as well as how I was able to make over $500,000 in commissions using my small list of just 18,000 people promoting a weird type of product that almost no one else promotes. All that is yours at igor.ac. So go ahead, claim your seat right now, and I'll see you there.